One of the fortunate things that happened to me in life was that I was employed by the government film unit. Now, like all government film units anywhere in the world, the politicians have portfolios and they want to push the barrow of whatever they want you to push forward for the voters or to rationalise something. And the kind of films that I'd been asked to do in New Guinea and also in Australia came to a crunch for me when I finally did a series of films for the government film unit. It was actually the Department of Territories, as I remember. So the Department of Territories took me to New Guinea, and out of that I met Jeff Doring through Jennifer Isaacs, a wonderful colleague and friend and a very significant contributor to Aboriginal history and her work with the Ngarinyin people and far beyond that. I met Jeff Doring and his wife Sue, and we made a film called Tidikawa and Friends. Although I was collaborating as a cinematographer, I realised out of that film I was a filmmaker. Up till then I had my training wheels on. So when the government film unit sent me away to do, again with the Department of Territories, produced by Frank Bagnall, wonderful man, rough diamond kind of character, said it as it was. He actually gave me, not him, the director gave me an extract from the silent assimilation policy, and I went to Frank and I said, and my son, who's now in a bassinet, okay, he's only a tiny little fella, went and saw Frank and I said, Frank, I cannot do this brief because this brief is saying that Aborigines do not have a right to their own culture. How can I be part of this? And he said, well, you've got two options, Michael. You can either do the job and put food on the table and raise your son, or you have to resign. Now, that was a great gift because what happened was that we went up to Owen Pelly, and one-legged Jack, as I remember, an Aboriginal, full-blood Aboriginal, man of the bush. He chose to travel with me. So we were the lead vehicle because there was no street directory or anything like that. We just went through the bush and he'd go like that. That meant go left, go ahead. And he was a very quiet sort of a chap. And we went through what turned out to be a mining camp. Went out and filmed with Bob Edwards. We met Bob Edwards to film the X-ray paintings in the caves. Came back. The rest of the crew who travelled in the other vehicle chose to stay in the Aboriginal mission, and I chose to sleep under the stars, and Jack decided that he was always going to sleep under the stars with me. So I'm making dinner for Jack and myself under the stars, and I look up at him and I realise that he was very quiet. He was the sort of person that he had such a deep voice that the ground shook, you know, it was that kind of voice. And I said to him, you're very quiet. And he said, you cut the land, you cut me. What transpired was that during the day when we were going through bush, we'd gone through a mining company, and the bulldozer tracks had cut into his burial ground, or his ancestral burial ground. And that was the turning point in my life. That's when I became, as the French would say, an auteur. I was a cinematographer working on, bums on seats entertainment, and did that for the rest of my life. Well, the rest of my film life, because there's another life, but during the period that I was shooting Sprocket Holes, I was still doing drama and entertainment, and also corporate stuff. But the auteur came out of me, the author, the filmmaker that was not only a cinematographer, but somebody who had a desperate need to tell the story, the plight of, I wanted to be, yes, the plight of the unspoken people, the First Nations people of Australia. And in fact, my career went beyond that. I mean, I have made films in war zones, I've made films about child soldiers, and I've been a vanguard of the disenfranchised people who are exploited by, well, in today's world, corporate greed.